What's going on, guys, and welcome to a new episode of G Vitamins. Today we're going to be taking a look at the newest version of Nest, the smart thermostat. We're going to do a little bit of unboxing, which is always exciting. We're going to replace it with the original thermostat that's currently in place, and we're going to be doing the initial setup on this so we can start using it and see if it's really going to save us some money, especially for this winter. So without any further ado, let me just get right to it. All right, let's take a look at the packaging itself. Box looks very nice and sleek looking. In terms of branding and the design, it looks very clean. It reminds me of a lot of the high-end electronics that you see out there these days, your iPhones, iPads, Androids, and so forth. Before we get started, let me make a quick recommendation. Doing an installation of this caliber, I would recommend to have a pair of needle nose pliers, a pair of adjustable pliers, and a flathead screwdriver. That will become handy with opening this box and later with removing your actual old thermostat. So let's go ahead and open this to see what's in the box. Well, that would do it. There's a little protective seal right here. So you want to go ahead and peel it off. And now it's much easier to open. All right. So here we go. This is the main unit. The actual thermostat feels very solid, like a solid product. It's a little bit heavy, and you know what they say, heavy things are usually expensive. Let's see what else we got in here. We got the manuals, I'm assuming, or yep, the booklets with the manuals. Now, don't think you're Einstein and go ahead and start installing this thing without reading the directions. I would recommend to read the directions for sure. Please go ahead and do so. It saved me a lot of time in the past through all my different kinds of installations of all kinds of different products. So just go ahead and read them. Do yourself a favor. All right. Here we got the control module. It looks like the piece that's going to go underneath the thermostat, where all the wires from the old thermostat are going to connect into, to make sure that everything is working. We got some screws. Here's a nice little screwdriver that I was talking about that makes it very easy to do the installation, even if you don't have the pliers and the other stuff. But you got the Phillips side and the flathead side as well. It's actually a very nice tool. I'll probably end up using this in my own toolbox later on once I install this. And what else do we have in here? There we go. We have a wall plate, which I will definitely be using because my old thermostat is a rectangular shape, much larger than this nice little circle here. So I don't want to leave nail or screw holes and just smudges on my wall when I put a beautiful product like this on there. So I'm definitely going to be using this, and this is just a metal plate that is installed first, and this goes on top of it. So we're going to take use of that, and that's pretty much everything that's in the box. There's additional screws here, but that's it for the unboxing. Okay, so here we have the thermostat that's currently installed at my house, and what we have to do first is cut the power off to the thermostat. So we're going to go downstairs to our breaker box and cut the power off. This thermostat is not actually connected to the power directly. It's connected to the furnace, so essentially we're turning off the heat pump and the unit itself. And even if we didn't turn the power off to the heat pump, we wouldn't get electrocuted by messing with the wires of this thermostat. But mainly what we're trying to avoid is damage the connections between the wires and the unit itself before we even install the new thermostat. So here we go. Here is our breaker box. Let me go ahead and quickly find the heat pump. There we go, there's the heat pump on the left. Furnace is on the right. Range, kitchen lights, washer. So we're gonna do 13 and 15 on here, which is right here. And we're gonna do 1 and 3, which is going to the furnace. All right, we're good. Let's go back upstairs and see if the thermostat has been turned off. And we're back, and let's go ahead and take this thermostat off. So I'm going to quickly see if I can just, that was pretty damn easy, okay. So the main part itself just came off. You see it's plugged into the control board, and you see all these wires. They're labeled with the green, blue, basically the colors of the wires. This is important to take a note of because you're gonna have to reconnect these, let me show you real quick, into this module, which is very important because if you don't connect all these exactly how they're over there, then the Nest thermostat is not gonna be able to function the way it's supposed to be. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna quickly take a picture of this. This is the easiest way to remember how this was set up. So we could do that for our reference here. And let's go ahead and start unscrewing this thing. See, and this is what we're talking about. So it's a good thing that I have my plastic wall plate, which is gonna beautifully cover this. And it's not even gonna look like we mess with the wall at all. So it's the good part about having this. So again, let me go ahead and disconnect these right here. So what we have here is a jumper cable between my W and X2 wire. You're not going to need this for the Nest. The Nest does not require any jumper cables between any connections. And also don't worry about any other colors of wires that are not connected to your original thermostat. And you also notice on the connector module of the Nest, there's plenty of other options that you can connect to that's just basically there to accommodate other thermostat setups. So now we're just going to take off this control module. So let's go ahead and install first the metal plate. And I'm just going to basically force my way into the wall right here. Remember, it's just a drywall. Make sure you straighten out the wires a little bit, and then let's go ahead and put the plastic plate on here. Now don't screw any screws in yet, because what's going to go on top of this is the connector module, and this is also going to kind of anchor the plastic plate better into the wall, and this is actually very useful. You see you have a little level right there. So, and we're pretty good right there. I'm just gonna go ahead and take the screws now and screw it right at the top over here. And let's do the other one here at the bottom. Make sure the screws are as flush as possible to the plastic, because this piece right here connects to the smart module to this piece, so you don't want this screw not be all the way in, to make sure you can have the best connection possible when you put it in there. So now that we have our needle nose pliers, if we need to, we can use these to straighten out these wires, but essentially we're just going to be plugging the color for color. You can always bring up your picture that you took earlier for your reference, and we're just going to be placing these in the holes. Now, since you see we have an orange and a blue, and this is O and B right there, what I'm going to try to do is basically connect both of them into orange and blue and see if that makes everything work. So, quick correction. The blue wire, I went on the internet, of course, on Nest's website to see if I can find an answer for this orange-blue wire problem right here. And it says that on some thermostats, the blue wire, or a wire that's labeled B, on the Nest is going to be the common wire, which is labeled C. So the orange is going to go to the orange, and the B in this case is going to go into the C right here. And now that I have that in place, we can go ahead and finally connect our thermostat, the smart thermostat. And it just very simply snaps into place. So let's go ahead and turn the power back on to make sure that everything works fine. And here we are, and we see that it's on. So the way this model functions is that when you turn it left to right that goes through the options that are on the screen. And to select an option, you basically push in. This whole thing is like a button. So let's go ahead and go home and go through the setup. I'm gonna use English, US version. Let's confirm the choice. Let's go ahead and hook up our internet connection. This thing does have to be hooked up to your Wi-Fi. We will connect, we will choose the one that belongs to our house, enter the long password. This is a little bit annoying, but once you get this connected to Wi-Fi, then you can use the app to set up everything else, which is my preference. There we go, it's connecting, and it's online. As you see, the unit is checking for a quick update. It's going to download the update, and then we're going to go ahead and resume with the initial setup. All right, so you saw the little message, Nest is restarting. We'll be back in just a bit. They got the updates, so now we should be good to go and complete the initial setup. I've noticed that whenever this unit restarts or takes an update, it always cycles through all of its, I guess, home screen options. So just go ahead and let it do that. And once it stops on the home icon, then you can resume what you were doing. All right, let's go ahead and continue with the setup. Your location. So here, it's gonna be asking for your location, for your zip code, to be able to determine the correct weather updates, because it can log onto the internet. What I'm gonna do, and this is just me, this is how I roll, I'm gonna put in a different zip code, one digit higher or lower, you know, whatever is closest to you. Only reason I'm doing that is because the Nest in the past did have issues with being hacked. So for whatever reason, I don't necessarily want them to know the zip code that I'm in, but at least I'm gonna get one close enough to where I live. So let me go ahead and just change that right quick. So now we have to choose the type of home we're installing this product into. My particular house is a townhome, and you see that we don't have that as an option. So I'm going to choose single family, but I guess I could also choose an apartment or a condo. I think this is just a data point that Nest is collecting. I don't think it has to do with the setup of your HVAC system, but since this thing learns over time how to be more efficient, I'm not really going to worry about it and just go with the single family option and let it learn. Now the thermostat is actually in the dining room in my case. Heating and cooling. The Nest Pro option is for if you want to install a complex system with dual fuel pumps, for example, or humidifiers, things of that nature, but we're not a Pro system. We're going to choose the fuel. It's a single fuel since we only have electricity coming to the house. And here the Nest thermostat is confirming that all the wires are detected. You would get an error here if there was a loose connection or something was not being connected. So we're good to go on that, and let's just go ahead and hit continue. And the thermostat has identified my system, and it's saying it's a heat pump, auxiliary heating and so forth, which is correct. And forced air is the option I'm going to choose. That's basically the type of system that I have because I have vents in the, on the floors, and it's the heat pump that's distributing the air throughout the property. And now this is back to the issue we had earlier with the B and the O wire, basically which one is the common one. So when I went on the Nest website, it said that in my case the B wire was the common wire, but this message is telling you that O wires are usually the common ones and the B wires are less common. But I'm not gonna let this confuse me. I'm gonna leave the way I originally set up. So basically my B wire is the common, that's what I connected to. So let's go ahead and move forward with this, and if anything is incorrect later on, we can always switch them out. The temperature option here is going to let us set up our temperature and basically test the heating and cooling, so let's go ahead and do that. Right now, it's gonna start getting a little cooler, so let's go ahead and set it to heating. So let's do heat to no more than, let's say, 68 degrees. System test. Continue. And let's go ahead and test now. Let's do heat pump heating. Now I did hear the heat come on, so let me go ahead and check to see if the air coming out is warmer temperature or cooler, to make sure I got this correct. All right, so at this point I've actually waited probably over 15 minutes to see if the air coming out of my ducts was going to warm up. Now, it's not as warm as I would like it to be. That's probably because I set it earlier to heat it up to 68 degrees, which really isn't that warm if you think about it. But the way I know it is heating is because my furnace is on, my heat pump is on, and the AC unit outside is not on. So, and the air coming out, even though it feels, I guess, slightly cool to the touch, is not as cold as when the AC is turned on. So I'm gonna go ahead and say done, but what I would suggest for you guys out there is to set your initial heating temperature to higher, maybe like, even in the upper 70s, to be honest. You can always change it back later, but for the purpose of setting this up, the initial setup, go ahead and choose it a little bit higher so you can get that heat coming out of your ducts earlier and don't have to wait as long. So the heat has been turned off. We're gonna go ahead and continue. We're gonna go ahead and test the fan because the fan is still on. And I wanna see, the fan is on. And it says the fan has been turned off. So let's see if that has happened. And the fan has been turned off, so that was successful. Let me go to cooling real quick. And you see that because it's fairly cold or cool right now, Nest is saying it's not going to test the cooling, so I'm just gonna go ahead and go back and say I'm done here. I don't have any auxiliary heating in this house, so we're gonna say we're done. And we're gonna continue on to the main setup. We're gonna let the Nest calibrate your temperature sensors automatically and continue. And we're gonna go ahead and finish. So now we have the device initially set up, and obviously all of the functions can be done from the unit right here. As you see, again, it's very simple. Left and right with the dial turning. And then to select an option, you just either push it over there or on the whole circle itself. But again, from this point on, I would suggest setting everything up through an app, which is much easier than having to deal with this dial. And you see the app is very simple to use. Again, just like the thermostat itself. And you want to go ahead and set up your schedule. You can look at your history. But I would recommend playing with the schedule options, basically letting the thermostat know when you leave the house, when you get back. I have 2 other roommates, so there's plenty of people in the house, and last year in the wintertime, we've used a lot of heat, and the heat was probably on many times when it didn't need to be on, so I'm really looking forward to this thermostat learning our behavior a little bit better, and when to turn the heat off and then turn it back on when we actually need it. So, again, I would suggest use the app. It's going to be much easier. You can sit down and go through all the options. You also have the settings, which you can additionally connect other Nest products. I believe they have a CO2 monitor as well as cameras that you can set up throughout the home and basically monitor different things at your home or different things that you want to have a camera on. And that will pretty much do it for the unboxing and the initial installation of the Nest thermostat. I hope you guys learned a thing or two, something new that is not in the other installation videos on YouTube, because at this point there's plenty of them out there. But if you have any questions at all, make sure to leave them in the comment section. Also, if you got any new topics to suggest for the next video, anything having to do with technology, energy efficiency, sustainable living, go ahead and make a comment. We'll go ahead and consider it for the next video. Make sure you like the video. And also, don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.